Hello, Internet, and welcome to Knights of Prospect. Uh, I'm Whitney Hawkins, aka Hazel Pippet, your friendly neighborhood halfling druid. Thank you for joining us tonight. Let's let my fellow performers here introduce themselves.
Hi, Rob Mulligan. I'm playing the character Ronaldo Francis Mackay the Fourth. He is a foppish bard of noble origin who's currently in a battle of wits with his probably, but now pretty much confirmed evil father.
Pretty much.
And it's going not great.
I'm Chauncey. I'm a young boy wizard. I'm a very powerful wizard. I've spoken all sorts of awful, evil things. Things have gone really wrong a lot of the time. But I'm like nice, so that's good. I can grow super tall sometimes. I can also make other people grow super tall. I talk about it a lot. You'll see it a lot during the show. Yeah, that's me. Sam Hoare playing Chauncey.
I'm Samantha Levangi. I play the character Winnie, who is also a bard, who would have probably before last session said she was definitely the most competent of the group, and would still say that, but think it less confidently as she gave her voice back to her sister, who was technically the original owner of the voice. But, you know, that's all water under the table now.
Yeah, well, we'll see how much water under the table that truly is. Anyway, I am John Serpico. I'm the game master for Knights of Prospect, and it's my job to keep all of these brave adventurers entertained and challenged. And over the last, to catch us up, this is what I will say: is over the last 6 months, all of these adventurers have been kind of fighting and doing good and making names for themselves and battling both inner and actual demons to rise to the level of notice of the famed Knights of Prospect, this group of like benevolent warriors for justice. And what's exciting is tonight they are finally going to kind of present themselves to the Knights of Prospect for judgment, and the Knights will determine if they are worthy of membership or not. But yeah, there's so much more going on besides that. What have been some recent highlights that have stood out to folks?
Well, a couple sessions ago now, last session I was involved in, we got kidnapped and shipped on a boat. And the only way to turn around was to fight a giant sea creature.
Yeah, we fought a kraken.
It was pretty great.
Wow.
See, this is what I was talking about. I made Raz, our cleric, real big and tall. I think that when you Sam, was that your idea to be like make Raz giant? Yeah,
just make him big. I mean, listen. I can think of few problems that having a really, really big person or thing doesn't solve.
I think it proved it. He got real big. He punched the kraken. I believe I summoned some monster maggots into the kraken's wounds.
Yeah.
I forgot about how
that was so gross.
I discarded my evil book. You know, it turned into a person. And now I have a really good book of angels. I put that back in my pocket and summoned some maggots because they got the job done.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad call. It was just a super gross call. But that's what I love about kind of this group as a group. Like when it comes to combat, you do have something of like a Swiss Army knife approach to things. Like you can do all sorts of wild and dangerous stuff. It's, really the big thing is handling the consequences.
The last one that Hazel was involved in, we fought a very mean deep elf who's also kind of sexy. And But then Hazel also found a ring that may or may not be connected to a siege golem, which is super cool.
Yep. So, you all got stuff going on.
Sure do.
And actually, I think let's start there. Let's get this thing started. So,
Right.
so everybody, today is the day. You're going to Etama to be judged by the Knights of Prospect, and your deeds will either be enough to be accepted or they will not be enough. Hazel, Winnie, and Chauncey, you're kind of doing some detective work right now, not just to kill time before you have to go to Etama, but because you genuinely have some detective work to do regarding that ring that that Hazel found. And Ronaldo, you're not with them because you're somewhere else. We'll get to you in a little bit. But Hazel, Winnie, and Chauncey, you are deep under the Arcane College of Tower Town. You as Chauncey, a hero of Tower Town, a hero of the Arcane College, the confidant of the famed Archmage Akka that you literally brought back to life. You kind of are given, let's call them upperclassmen privileges at the Arcane College, even though you're about 11. And so, the three of you have been kind of analyzing this ring. And Chauncey, through your magic, and Winnie, through your kind of understanding of magical equipment and magical ephemera, you realize that whatever this thing is connected to something under the Arcane College. And when I say under, I mean you are like in the sub-basement of the sub-basement of the sub-basement. And at this point, there are no longer bricks. You're just like walking through caves. So that's where you are now. You're kind of doing something of a follow your nose type thing, waiting for one, two, or all three of you to get some kind of feeling like you're close to wherever it is you are.
All I know is that when this thing is on me, it feels a little sparky. Like when you touch like one of those eels.
Oh, like it shocks you?
Yeah, a little bit.
Huh.
Not a big one, just a little one. But it's feeling kind of stronger now that we're down here.
The shock? Is it like periodic, or is it like a sustained?
It's like a buzz.
Oh.
Well, I'll just say, I always recommend caution with new magical objects that feel connected to you. It's something I picked up over the years that you should really, you should question those things and look into them before utilizing too much. It's something that I have always believed.
When you raise your hand up high, does the buzzing get stronger or weaker?
No different.
What if you put it really low?
Little stronger.
Stronger when it's low.
Yeah.
I put to think back about everything I know that maybe beneath down here. If I've heard of things down in the basement, anything mysterious that's come up in my research.
Sure. Chauncey, roll 2d6 plus your intelligence. You definitely will have some information. It's just a question of whether this is very good or very, very bad.
A 12.
All right. Yeah, you have heard of all manner of things down here, but you're you think yourself smart enough and kind of learned enough to pick out like the fables from the truth. And the thing that you know for sure is that kind of beneath the layers of like sub-basement of the Arcane College, there are like ancient lost secrets and ancient magics that are protected by guardians. there are conflicting reports as to what these guardians are, but Chauncey, for you, you have a very clear idea of the type of guardian you're supposed to be facing down here.
Oh, I think that there's some sort of. You see, there are many deep, dark secrets down below in the chasms here, and there are things that protect those things, and well, there are some things that, well, they're covered in scales and have big teeth sometimes. What did the walls around me look like?
They're getting damper. There's condensation down here. There's a bit of a saltwater smell.
There may be a mud beast around here.
Goodness, what's with the mud? I feel like ever since Vil left, or we've been haunted by mud people.
Oh, mud. Okay, I got this. I'm gonna lean down and kind of shove my hand into the dirt and say, "Hey, mud, if you got any beasts in you, could you just show me right quick?"
The mud responds, because it's a very reasonable request. Yeah, there is a forked path that you're taking, and both will eventually lead down a layer, and you think that's where you need to go. The one to the left has a mud beast. The one to the right has something that talks to itself.
Oh.
I talk to myself sometimes. That doesn't necessarily mean it's bad.
It feels relatable.
I don't know. Shall we?
Yeah. Well, could you keep an eye on the tingly ring? Is that what we're gonna call it?
Sure, tingly ring. I like that.
Ring. Sounds like a magical artifact to me.
Yeah.
So you're going the path not of the mud beast, but of the whatever it is talking to itself.
The not mud beast.
The not mud beast. Always a safe bet. So you you've got thanks to Chauncey, there's just kind of magical orbs of light following you around. So it's not.
I'm juggling them.
Yeah, it's you're making quite the show of lighting the way, but it's not particularly scary. It's oddly comforting down here in a weird way, even though you've never been down here. You literally hear the sound of like water dripping into puddles, and there is a clear mud beast nearby. For whatever reason, you're all kind of girded with some manner of confidence. That confidence erodes a little bit when you actually hear the sound in the distance of someone talking to himself. Yes, I know, I agree, but what will I do with this information? You can do whatever you want with the information. You should etch it into the stone with the other things that I've told you. What things? I haven't etched anything good into this stone in years. Well, that's just because you judge your poetry harshly. I think everything you write is delightful. And so you walk, and you find, standing in a hallway, well, he's about 6 feet tall. He's covered in scales and plate armor on top of that. And he's also translucent because he's a ghost. Just a large, scaly ghost man pacing back and forth in a stretch of cave absolutely covered in etchings and drawings. And he kind of sees you and grabs his like spectral spear and says, "Wait a moment. Are you my imagination?"
Yes.
How much do you like your imagination?
Well, it depends. I was just arguing with you, assuming you are my imagination.
We're here to make up.
Yeah, we think that your poetry is great.
We'd
love to hear one.
I would love to tell one. What shall the topic be?
Well,
Mud,
Bud.
That's
Bud,
just
yeah.
like me to ask for something I would know.
That's so true.
He stands up nice and straight and kind of lays his spectral spear against the wall. And the second he takes his hand off it, it vanishes. And he kind of stands there like straight orator's posture. Woe to the loamy soil, the tomb beyond life. Though my body is captured within you, I continue to survive. My imagination, it plagues me with requests of song. But here I am, and here I shall be, for long and long and long.
Wow, we are good.
Beautiful.
Yes, we
Wonderful.
are. So, why haven't you vanished back into the recesses of my mind yet, imagination?
Oh, you're getting stronger.
Oh, yes, you are doing quite well. Now we have to back away slowly in the direction we were going to.
Oh, very fair.
Yes.
Best
We will not
of luck.
vanish. Also, until you close your eyes for 25 seconds.
That's right. And no peeking, and you have to count out loud.
Nope.
Now, thinking.
Of course, imagination. This makes perfect sense to me. And so, this spectral ghost lizard closes his eyes and loudly counts to 25 as you appropriately sneak off.
He's talented.
I feel like that went better than the Mud Beast would have went.
Let's switch to Etama, the Grand Chapter House of the Knights of Prospect, several miles outside of town. Ronaldo, you're already there because you are once again talking to the Knights Thudmeric and Spitzfoot, who you talked to a few weeks ago before your father arranged for you all to be kidnapped and thrown onto a boat. So Spitzfoot, who's in the Knights of Prospect and also a member of the magical constabulary of Tower Town, kind of acknowledges that you're kind of in this place again. And Spitzfoot says, now, I don't want to take away from the evening's proceedings, but since you're here now, I just want to remind you that the last time we had the conversation about your father's misdeeds and the proof, you ended up being kidnapped.
Yes.
So you continue to have the evidence against your father. So I suppose the question is, do you want to give it to us yet?
Oh my gosh, yes. I do not have a single emotional feeling left for that son of a gun. Here you go.
Okay. And so you hand over to him all of the...
I was just waiting for you to ask. I feel like you also have evidence of him kidnapping, and which I'm assuming is illegal, but I don't know.
Yeah. Spitzfoot kind of looks at Thudmeric, and Thudmeric nods. Yes, we were able to trace back the entire plot regarding that kidnapping. It's between this and the evidence put forth by Archmage Akka that you now have. It's very clear that your father attempted a coup and then also attempted and technically succeeded at a kidnapping.
And I hope you don't mind that I've been kind of staying at Etama for this long, considering I can't go home without being afraid of, without dying, I assume. Being kidnapped again? I don't know. I don't know if you've known this, but I've been crashing here. Maybe this is news to you.
Spitzfoot, who doesn't live here full time, raises an eyebrow, but Thudmeric says, yes, our supply of cured meats was decreasing at a faster rate than I would expect. But it's all right.
I'm a big fan of salami.
No matter what happens tonight, rest assured that you've done enough, not just for the Riverlands, but for the Knights of Prospect themselves, that you are more than welcome to stay here for your safety, for as long as it takes to get your father into custody. Well, are you nervous?
For a lot of things.
Yeah. Thudmeric she's trying to figure out what exactly to say here. Like, you're Ronaldo, kind of a student of the human condition. You have to be as a bard and a diplomat and a nobleman. it's very clear that Thudmeric and Spitzfoot are trying to simultaneously talk to you as a person and also keep the reserve of someone that you are about to have a job interview with. So it's this weird kind of balance they're striking.
I can go if you don't want me to be here. If we need to end this conversation, we don't have to put on airs. Tonight's a big night.
Yes, but this is Thudmeric. But at the same time, to keep up decor, if keeping up decorum means tossing you out the front door where you have your father's mercenaries to deal with, I'd rather us just stay here in the awkward silence.
Okay.
Unless, of course, you'd like to go into the proving ground to spar.
No, we can awkward silence. That's fine.
Fair. Back under the arcane. You've kind of navigated your way past mud beasts and ghosts, and now you're in something that, frankly, it doesn't look like it has any business being under the Arcane College. Now, the Arcane College is an enormous tower, the Tower of Gifts, made by the elves centuries and centuries ago, and even its sub-basements look elven. They have kind of the filigree and the carvings of elven craftspeople. But where you are now looks, it looks like a mad magician designed this place while hallucinating. You're in like a weird box kind of tipped to its side a little bit, so your equilibrium is off. This place, Winnie and Chauncey, you both feel it is kind of making your magical senses go a little haywire. It's almost like you hear an alarm in the distance, but you can't tell from what direction.
Anyone else have allergies?
No, but I have oh God. Oh, it feels, it's awful. It's awful. It's awful. It's like there's something like screaming, like a very tiny person screaming very close to my ear.
Oddly enough, you're kind of making your way through this kind of, it's not even like a labyrinth. It feels like almost like one room that just keeps turning. Mercifully, as you kind of walk further into it, that alarmy, spidey sensey kind of feeling is going away. And the buzzing of your ring, Hazel, is getting more intense. Until eventually you walk up to what could best be described as an enormous metal sarcophagus.
My.
It's vaguely human-shaped if it was, if a human was about 20 feet tall. And right in the middle of it, like the whole thing is kind of smooth. It's like this smooth silvery metal. But right in the middle of it is this little notch.
How is the ring feeling?
It's real buzzy.
It's a buzzy ring. What happens when you put it up really high?
It's still buzzy.
And what if you put it down real low? And what if you put it like on your hips?
All right.
You kind of turn around a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
How
still
is that?
buzzing.
Interesting.
What if you put it on that? And I point to the sarcophagus or whatever it is.
Oh, it's real buzzy.
It's this jet of like steam, and it smells like incense, kind of jets forth, and you'll kind of get hit with kind of this cloud of steam and
fire starts to come from my hands, but then I put them down.
Yeah.
I put them down.
Lit by the inside of this sarcophagus stands a 20-foot tall brass golem. Well, you think it's a statue at first, a giant brass statue, until when, Hazel, you look up at it, it looks down at you. It has tiny horns on its head.
I'm gonna walk up and touch her. I can only really reach her knee.
You touch the golem, and the golem kind of straightens up for a second and takes a step forward. And you well, the entire room fills with this noise. I have awoken. What is it you wish to call me?
You can name it? Is it yours?
Oh, it's Dolly.
I am Dolly. Thank you for waking me from my slumber. I look forward to the glories of battle in your name. What is your name?
Hazel Pippet.
Hazel. Thank you. Point me in the direction of that which you want destroyed.
Well, I don't want to destroy anything right now, but we could use a buddy like you.
Then I shall be your buddy. I am excited for years of companionship.
Whoa, this thing moves fast.
Yo!
Are these friends of yours?
Oh, I'm so sorry. That's so rude of me. This is my friend Winnie. She's a very talented bard.
Oh.
Although she has some stuff going on right now. It's okay. She's still talented. And this is my friend Chauncey. He's a boy wizard.
Boy wizard, grower of creatures, speaker to evil beings.
I just want to say that I'm so glad, Chauncey, that you didn't get this.
What?
I'm just going to leave my comment right there.
I
think that's fair.
Okay, and I cast Summon Monster, and I attempt to summon a thing that looks similar to the golem.
I was asking for this. This is I realize now.
Winnie basically told me to do this.
Chauncey, you don't need to roll it. You summon essentially a giant kind of clay golem, about 20 feet tall, and it kind of moves, and Chauncey, it looks at you. And Dolly looks at you. Hazel, I see a being of roughly my size. I assume it is also a marvel of siegecraft. Shall I destroy it for you?
Why don't you just try to give it a hug?
I understand.
Maybe after that they could arm wrestle.
So you, Hazel, the interesting thing is it kind of asks if it can do this. And then you kind of say, all right, give it a hug. And then you realize it's kind of waiting. And then you kind of realize that you almost need to will it in your mind, as if you're telling yourself to do these things.
Give it a hug. Give it a hug. Give it a hug.
Hello, I am Dolly, a marvel of siegecraft. Here it is.
God. Mr. Golem, bring it in with Dolly. Bring it in.
Bring it in for the real thing.
Good, Mr. Golem. Good.
20-foot tall golems engage in a meaningful hug.
This is nice.
It's sweet.
That it is. And I think with that, we are going to jump forward a few hours here. All of you, well, except for Ronaldo, who's already there, are walking to Etama. Dolly is, of course, coming with you, as is Hobie the Duck, Raz, Jelly, Gregory, everyone except Levin, actually. And you're all just kind of walking. The fact that of note, you didn't for all of those under the Arcane College, you didn't need to take the same set of stairs and magical elevators up. The siege golem literally just carved her way up through the ground and emerged in a park. So you all just kind of followed that way up. And so, yeah, there's now big news of a giant golem walking around, but kind of the hubbub in town is like, oh, there's a giant golem. Should we be worried? Oh no, it's like Chauncey and Hazel. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense, I guess.
I've been riding Dolly around on her shoulder.
Yeah, Dolly is giving you comprehensive details of how she would destroy Tower Town. The issue here is that is a choke point. Obviously, we would not funnel troops through there. The best attempt would be to engage a diversion at sea. And you're getting this whole like history 101 about how magical cities get besieged. And it's just like walking, and every so often it identifies a tree, and it just keeps going.
I'm writing this all down.
Yeah. So Dolly, now there's a character sheet, Hazel, for Dolly that you now have access to. In addition to giving you all of this information, Dolly is also capable, if you'd like, of building a giant war ram. So if you ever need a standing structure not standing anymore, Dolly will be able to do that for you.
Oh, that's great.
So yeah, you're all walking, and it's kind of become something of a procession, really. Kind of people from around town. Ron Tomdell's here to see you off, Chauncey, your brother, and
hello.
People from the Arcane College, and
any of my kids, my network of children.
All of them are along the route, furiously writing in notebooks.
Good job.
And they like nod and then quickly hide, and they change positions.
No one saw you.
You kind of walk through a park as you start getting to the outskirts of town, and then up into the hills where Etama is. When you see, along with a couple of other folks from the Arcane College, Archmage Akka, and he kind of stands there, and he kind of puts up his hand of like, can I have a minute? And you all kind of stop. And, now that Akka's been alive for a few weeks, he's definitely looking healthier. He's kind of filled out more. Like, he looked particularly like dashing and imposing after he emerged from like the planar realm of death where you brought him from, Chauncey. But now he looks a little more human. Like his face is filled out a little bit, and his clothes, which kind of like his robes, which looked like they were hanging on him, are now kind of a little more robust. But he kind of looks at all of you and says, "Well, it seems today is the day, yes?"
Yes, Akka, you are looking much better than when you were an evil book.
Well, I certainly hope so. I've definitely gotten my appetite back. I just wanted to wish you all luck in there. I am not a member of the Knights of Prospect, of course. I am just once again a member of the living human race again, after all. But I hope you do well in there. They are a discerning group of adventurers, to be sure.
I'm staring at his eyes. I'm looking to see if they ever turned black like the moment that he came back.
Yeah, you kind of make good, meaningful eye contact with him, and he's trying to read you. It's very clear. He's, you can almost kind of see, like, he's like, you could almost see Akka think, he's like, should I smile? Am I waiting for him to smile? Is one of us going to smile? And so he just kind of settles with like a curt nod. Well, I shan't hold you up. Best of luck to you all. And then he kind of spins off and starts walking in some direction. And you all make it to Etama, which now normally there's a lot of kind of hustle and bustle outside Etama. There's usually petitioners here asking to speak with the knights. There's trade wagons. There are people, outside. It's one of those things where it's almost like a tourist destination as well. So occasionally you'll see like well-to-do travelers on like another hill, like looking at it and like all that. But today it is empty, stone cold empty, with the exception of all of you and Ronaldo, who's standing in the doorway of kind of the inner walls. And Actually, of all of the Knights of Prospect that you know, which one greets you all by the outer gates?
Thudmeric.
Thudmeric for sure.
So Thudmeric comes out fully resplendent in her battle armor. This
She's
is
glowing.
Yeah. Literally, in fact, her pauldrons are emitting light. She has her giant greatsword across her back. She's, that she held the line against orcs in this armor. And she kind of stands there looking at all of you and says, well, it's time then.
Is there somewhere I can park my golem?
Is this a recent development?
Yeah, this is Dolly. I've found a ring in a mountain after fighting a deep elf. It was a whole thing.
Wow, I've missed a
Dolly,
lot.
this is Thudmeric, a knight of Prospect.
Dolly is very loving.
Thudmeric, I can list several ways that I can destroy Etama. Shall I do so now? And Thudmeric kind of raised her hands up. Well, very nice to meet you, Dolly.
Maybe later.
Dolly can... we can put Dolly near the stables in the muster grounds.
Oh, yeah. Okay, just go stand near the horses, honey.
I will ensure they are protected.
I would like to follow the golem just for a moment.
Yeah, so you kind of walk around. You're in like the inner grounds. Like Etama has this big outer palisade wall, and then there's the chapter house itself, which is this big, beautiful structure, and then all these outbuildings around it. It's like this campus, this like walled campus. And so, most folks are kind of walking towards the Hall of Heroes, the Great Hall. But you kind of follow Dolly around to a stable. There are a couple of retainers there that kind of clear a path and get horses out of the way. And you're just watching Dolly kind of take big, long golem strides. The midday sun kind of hitting off her shoulders. And then she eventually stands next to the stable and just begins scanning the horizon.
I go behind Dolly and I just say, don't look. And I take my bag out and I change from my black robes into new white robes that I borrowed from Ram Tondal, and I put them on and I put my angel book in my new white robes, and I also look back at my angel book and I want to start walking back, and I'm thumbing through looking for the least dangerous angel that I can call to speak to.
Yeah, there's one in here. It's called a cherub, and you're pretty sure you could contact the angelic plane and speak to a cherub if you'd like.
Are they like those little fat babies?
That they are.
So cute.
Yeah. So if you want to contact other plane, roll your 2d6 plus intelligence. Tell me what you get.
Okay. Nine.
Okay, so you have kind of a fairly halting conversation with a cherub. Kind of the window only stays open for a little bit, but you kind of look up and kind of like a cloud, kind of like this nice kind of puffy white cloud kind of appears, and kind of popping through it is this like small baby face, and it looks at you expectantly.
Hi, I don't have too much time, Angel, my liege, and I wanted to beseech some wise words. Is it me and my friends are about to do something real big. I don't know what's going to happen. Can you just help me make sure that nothing bad happens to all my friends when we do whatever we're about to do?
Well, I suppose I can give you a piece of advice that will gird you in this time. If you are powerful enough and sage enough to contact my plane and ask for some kind of divine advice, then I also think you're powerful and wise enough to protect your friends from whatever dangers could befall them on your plane.
Wow, that was very kind of you to say. Do you have an extra second?
I think so.
Thank you very much. I've done a lot of things that maybe didn't help my friends very much, so I was just wanting to really help them here. Is there anything that we could do that, I don't know, that I could make sure that all of my power goes to helping them in our trials instead of me?
Well, in my experience, I've found that the greatest groups of people are those that, to a person, put others before themselves. If you put your shield in front of someone else and you know they will put their shield in front of you, then you will form quite the bulwark against evils.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time. And I reach into my new robe and I take out a cookie, and I pass it towards the cherub's face.
The cherub kind of reaches out with like a chubby little arm and kind of takes it and nods and then kind of fades away.
Bye. I walk back over wearing my new robes.
Inside Etama, assembled at this grand circular table, are the Knights of Prospect. All of them. The ones you know and the ones you have yet to meet. A grand representation of all of the peoples of the Riverlands are assembled here. Heroes of every shape and size. Every single one of them is dressed in the regalia of their office. Whether they're clerics or wizards or kind of battle sorcerers, generals, diplomats, every single one of them is wearing what they would wear if they were going to meet a head of state. And they're all just sitting there. Thudmeric looks at all of you and says, Hazel, Ronaldo, Winnie, Chauncey, Raz, Jelly, Gregory. You are all here because we wish you to petition us for membership in our ranks. This is not something you can ask for yourself. We have asked you to be here. One thing that we did ask, though, was for Winnie to prepare a bardic song detailing what you have done. But before we get to that moment, I would just like to hear something from each of you, Hazel, Ronaldo, Chauncey, about what you hope to get out of this day.
Ronaldo takes a big step forward. He bows very, very deeply. First of all, I would like to say thank you so much for this opportunity. This is not something we can ask for, as you said, and this is something we have wanted for a long time and have been working for a long time. And we appreciate one that is noticed. We've lost some of our friends. We've not made every right choice, but we've moved through the world trying to do good in the way that the Knights of Prospect try to do good with all of the best intentions. So what I wish to get from this day is the ability to keep on doing that mission. Thank you. And he bows deeply. He steps back.
Thudmeric nods. All of the knights, more or less in unison, kind of raise a hand and bang it on the table.
Oh, did that mean that I should go?
Yeah. I elbow Hazel.
Oh, okay. Hi, I'm nervous. I came down from the mountains all by myself. I left my whole family and everyone I know in my village because the mountains are a powerful place and there's threats against them. And I need to protect it. And this is the great group that will allow me to protect my home and the people in them, and also get to know the people outside the mountains and bring back some of that. I've already learned so much magic and talent and power from the people standing around me, and I want to continue to keep doing so. And there are big threats against the mountains. I just learned recently, very evil, sexy ladies really attacking one of the mountains, and I really want to go back and get her. Sorry, that's a tangent, but that's what I want to keep doing.
Yay!
Everyone bangs the table again.
Wow! I walk forward very stoically. Hello! And I very calmly conjure fireworks above my head. It is I, Chauncey. Now, I have done many wonderful things recently. I have won our noble magic fair, and we don't have to talk about how. I have grown myself and others many stories tall to punch many mythical beasts. And that's been fun. Today, as a wise cherub once said, I take out a cookie and I nibble on it for a minute. Just kind of turn away. Today, what I would like moving forward is for all of these wonderful, heroic people who have sacrificed very much and have done a great deal of good to be able to continue doing that good. And if I am able to help them with that, then that would be wonderful. And if I am, I don't know, able to become a super cool, awesome wizard while I do that, that would be great too. But I digress. And I wink at Hazel. I would like this group to continue forward and be able to perform their wonderful deeds. Thank you very much for your time. I've been a Chauncey Boy Wizard, a grower of beings, winner of magic fairs, and I turn and pivot on a heel, try and make my cape swish, and I do some very stoic fireworks and walk back to my spot. And with my back turned, I go.
Chauncey, you did a good job. You can take a deep breath.
Gregory steps forward and talks about fighting against the orcs and the bravery that he sees on the battlefield and how that bravery is reflected in his companions.
It's so beautiful.
Those here and those that we've lost, he explains. Raz speaks about what he has learned in communion with Enteresh, his god, and his spirit leaving his body and what it means to be alive. Jelly talks about making one's way in the world and family and the family you choose and the family you don't. And, it's all very profound and earnest and heartfelt. And you're all kind of scanning the eyes of these countless Knights of Prospect all watching you, and they're all just kind of taking it in. Some of them are nodding. Most of them are just kind of absorbing. And then there's kind of this beat, and Thudmeric says, "Some time ago, when you began to rise to the attention of the Knights of Prospect, we presented Winnie with a commission. And that commission was to craft a bardic song that reflected your actions, that we may ponder them once more. Winnie, if you would care to share it now.
Yes.
I'd
Thank you.
I'd light Winnie's outfit up. Fireworks! Fireworks!
Tell a tale of heroes, a task not easy done. But one by one, we're here to make a spinning tale unspun. An elven rogue unparalleled, Vale's duck stood by her side until she met her fateful end, giving life to he who died. What about the pious one, the victim of Vale's crime? And Jaresh would like to share that Raz is alive and feeling fine. And Jelly, full of mischief, a child in every right. But come too close, and her quick hand will make your wallet take flight. Hazel, Hazel, animal friend, watch her grow cool wings. Her kindness kills her nemesis. Her golem is real big.
Yeah!
If fighting's your game, well then Gregory's the guy who, after staring blankly forth, will make your mother cry. And who grows very, very tall? Well, Chauncey is your boy.
Yeah, he does.
He makes himself known to the world and isn't very coy.
Spin move!
And then there's me, who despite her checkered past, has in front of all of you told tales of heroic deeds past. Throughout it all, these folks have grown, and in my mind and heart, it's up to you, Knights of Prospect, to tell us if we start.
Okay, Winnie. I need you to roll 2d6 plus your charisma, please.
Really?
Cool. Here we go. 10.
Yeah!
The staid reserve of the knights begins to break at that point, and Gouda starts laughing and clapping. Spitzfoot stands up with Scalvi and the Terror, and they start shooting fireworks above the table.
Ah, me too!
All of the knights start kind of looking at each other and looking at all of you. Like obviously everyone, Winnie, kind of gathers around you and congratulates you. And, at some point kind of all the discordant sounds and cheers kind of swell up into this big round of applause.
Woo! Yeah, I know her! Woo!
That's my friend. She tells me not to do stuff all the time.
She's
Thudmeric.
I'm okay with it.
Thudmeric waits for the cheering to kind of reach its crescendo, and then she raises her hand and she kind of steadies herself and looks at all of you, and a big smile breaks out across her face. I've known one of you for a long while. And she looks at Gregory. And the rest of you I've met far more recently. And during that time, I've seen your feats of daring, your selflessness, your genuine desire to help people. You've reclaimed stolen magics for the Arcane College, defended the forest of Imlan, defeated an Earth Elemental and a Kraken, saved a dozen magical students, rescued 2 of our companions from a pocket reality, and brought Archmage Akka back from the dead.
Mm.
A couple of the other knights shout out at this point, among other things.
Yay, other things!
And so, Thudmeric continues, it gives me, on behalf of the rest assembled, great pride to proudly admit you as the newest members of the Knights of... And suddenly there's a giant magical crackle and the lights go out.
Oh, every time!
It counts! It still counts!
It's the place is full of smoke. All of you are like, you're bleeding from your noses and your ears. You're dizzy.
I light a fireball in my hand.
Yeah, Hazel, you kind of light up a fireball. Gregory grabs torches, opens up lanterns, and you kind of steadily, instinctually form a defensive perimeter. Your weapons are out, and in that moment, you look around, and as everything clears, the Knights of Prospect are gone.
Son of a... What?
Is there any sign, any indication of where they might have gone?
Yes. You don't even need to roll for it, Winnie. This building, Etama, the great chapter house of the Knights of Prospect, was targeted by a ritual magic spell of unbelievable power. You were the target of a ritual magic something.
Dang it!
Did we disappear? Are we in is like a pocket reality? We've been there in one of those before.
Yeah. You instinctually look, but like you're in Etama. You're in the chapter house. You were where you just were. It's just that giant table in front of you is completely empty. Ronaldo, you like look out the front door, and in the distance is Tower Town, but the Knights are gone.
I run over to the table where they were, and I try to detect either if I can see Phil where this came from or where the Knights went to.
Yeah, Chauncey, let's have you make a very, very, very important discern realities roll here. 2d6 plus intelligence, because this is magical in nature. I wish you all the luck in the world.
6.
Okay. Our attention shifts to a far-flung mountain and an immense ritual circle etched into a stone plateau beneath its summit. Around the perimeter of the circle are 13 sorcerers, all but one of them falling to their hands and knees as the ritual ended. At the center of the circle are the Knights of Prospect. Thudmeric, Spitzfoot, Scalvian, Gouda, Illyria, Flintuber, and the other heroes that you haven't met just yet. And they are all unconscious. The one sorcerer that remained on his feet is clad in gray battle armor covered in runes and sigils. He turns and says, "Sister Ix, what is the count?" Sister Ix, an elf with dark eyes and golden tattoos covering her arms, looks at the heap of knights in the center of the ritual circle. All but the newest recruits. The armored sorcerer takes off his helmet and looks at her. His is a familiar face, if not for the patchwork of scars stretching from his scalp to his chin. It's Archmage Akka.
Son of a...
I knew it! I didn't like
Why did we trust him?
Well, it will have to be enough. Sister Ix, the next phase must begin now.
I just thought he was going through a goth phase, but he's actually evil.
She's an evil book.
And we cut back to all of you in Etama.
I don't know what happened.
I just feel like it's that guy I don't like.
What have I discerned?
Whatever it was came from far away. Very, very far away. Someone very powerful and very far away just did something to this building. At around this moment, you hear the sound of griffins outside. 2 of them. And they land, and sprinting into Etama is Archmage Basia and Archmage Akka, the governor of Tower Town and Archmage Akka, who you just saved. The 2 of them run in, and Archmage Akka begins. We were in the tower in the ocularium, and we saw a magical effect from here. Is everyone all right? Where is everyone? This is Archmage Akka speaking.
We don't know. We have no idea.
And
A big magic far away spell. That's what we know.
They're gone. Akka, aren't you supposed to protect people here?
I'm bleeding from my ear.
Archmage Basia, pulls out some weird thing, like this weird twisted stone from inside of her cloak, and hands it to you, Hazel. And you grab it, and you instantly start feeling better. At this moment, Raz is starting to heal people as well. Archmage Basia says, well, yes, obviously we're meant to protect people, though technically Etama is not a part of Tower Town. It is in the outskirts, and it's in an independent jurisdiction. And Archmage Akka looks at her and says, damn it with the rules, Basia. Something just happened here. And then Basia continues, Akka and I were just in consultation, in point of fact, talking about that golem that just came out from under Tower Town. When we saw whatever it is that was, what did you see?
A big explosion of magic above us, and the lights, every candle went out in the room, and then nothing.
Yeah, they were gone.
I saw the greatest performance of my life, and then all of my heroes are now somewhere very far away through some sort of ritual.
And a room full of smoke.
At this point, Akka kind of draws a pouch of kind of magical salts and kind of lays out like this little pyramid of them on the table. And Chauncey, you know what this is. He's trying to divine out the magical energies. You've done this a million times. And normally, you put like this little kind of pile of salt down, and it's going to eventually start moving and shaking, almost like you were vibrating the table, like it starts to kind of move. And you can kind of read what that means. The second he puts this pillar down, it's almost like the salt explodes in a direction north, like this big conical spray of salt all over the table. And then Akka looks up at all of you and says, does anyone else feel that? And blood starts pouring out of his nose, and he passes out.
Oh gosh.
Archmage Basia starts grabbing her head and crying out in pain. And she starts pointing north, and she kind of falls awkwardly and kind of bangs against the table.
All right.
I think we should get them and get out of here.
Yeah. I grab Basia and try and like gently get her out.
Dolly! I just start yelling for Dolly to come.
Oh God.
Dolly runs up to the side entrance of the Great Hall.
Don't smash it! Don't smash it!
Then I am limited in what I can do.
Just hold tight, and I just get her to pick up the 2 fallen mage people.
Yeah, you all kind of spirit them fireman carry style into the waiting arms of Dolly, who can reach her arms through the door, and she kind of slings one over each shoulder.
Should get
That is
far away
very
from
handy
here.
find.
Yeah, all of you get outside. You kind of run out of the building. The whole of Etama is empty except for all of you. And so you kind of run and circle to the north face of the palisade wall and kind of open the big heavy gates and look north. The next hilltop over, a fog starts to gather, unnaturally and quickly. Cracks of blue lightning start arcing from the fog as it gathers.
Uh-oh.
And suddenly, the fog freezes into a mirrory portal. Emerging from it is Hal the Red, the leader of the Laughing Companions, and the sorcerer Rose, who you all killed months earlier.
Oh, crap.
Hal adjusts his leather arming jacket and looks at Rose. I'll be damned. You weren't lying. Then Rose kind of turns and smiles back to him. Why would I lie to someone that's about to become a warlord? Dozens of Laughing Companions start to stream through the portal behind them, carrying weapons and demolition tools. Rose claps Hal on the shoulder. And that's not all. I want to make sure we have everything we need. At around that moment, another portal crystallizes, bigger than the first one. And from that portal emerge a pair of hill giants covered in iron armor, carrying clubs the size of trees. Hal laughs and turns to his forces. Come on, companions. We're about to be rich. Let's take everything we can carry and burn Etama to the ground. And then they charge. So we're going to end it right there.
Why? No.
And
big
come back
fight,
next week.
big fight, big fight.
Are we all going to be in this? We're all going to be on this.
What?
Ruh-roh.
I
So
thought we were just gonna eat some crab cakes.
I was really excited for something light and just nice and airy and
A
right,
party,
well.
perhaps.
there was going to be quite the spread if the invasion of Tower Town didn't happen.
Right?
Yeah, it would
We're
have
gonna
been all
have
kinds of
so many
food.
nice celebratory snacks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't want to bury the lead here. Congratulations on becoming not only Knights of Prospect, but the only Knights of Prospect.
I
dream come
believe we
true.
became the Knights of.
Technically, you are the Knights of.
We've not gotten the final word.
Until someone
are-
finishes that sentence.
We're the knights of.
Yeah.
Good for us. Good
Yeah.
for us.
So good job, everybody.
And this
What?
is like a super pack of like all of our enemies.
Super back.
Cool. Hey, well, maybe at least hopefully their really cool horses are still in the stable, so we can hang out and use those horses.
Yeah, the Knights of Prospect have great horses.
Let's get some
Really
cool stuff.
top-notch horses.
Sam, that song was amazing.
Yeah, that was
by the way.
great job.
I will say my little device that I was using here, I lost track of where my fingers were hitting things for the notes. So
That was so awesome.
It was great.
but thank you very much. I didn't know until right before I did it that it was going to be a wrap.
I wanted to keep the steely cool of a GM, so instead of saying congratulations, I just asked to roll charisma. But congratulations, that was
Thank you.
awesome.
That was amazing.
Well, you removed my charisma bonus, so I was worried that I was going to do that, and everyone was going to be like, "Were you going to make a song?"
We do have some questions as to what that thingy is.
Oh,
If you could
Oh.
enlighten us.
Yes.
questions.
This is it's called Orba. Not sponsored.
Yes. Not yet.
Could be Orba.
It's like a little it's like a hand synth, and it has a bunch of different settings for like different like sounds.
That actually does feel like something hard to have. Like a
Yeah.
little magic rock that's
This
just
is
like
my
This is a magic rock. It sounds when I press it. Yeah. So it's very handy. Very handy.
Yeah, so it seems.
That's a prospect brought to you by
Orba. You can email us at knightsofprospect@gmail.com.
We know you're watching Orba.
Knights of Prospect for all your siege golem and handheld synth needs. Speaking of Knights of Prospect, thank you all audience for tuning in. We have been the Knights of Prospect. Now we are the Knights of. We are here every Saturday night at 8 p.m. right here on 2MB Studios. And we love to be here. And one of the reasons why is there are so many amazing shows that are in the 2MB Studios lineup. Everything from talk shows to live plays like this to game shows to comedy of all sorts. Go to twitch.tv/2MB Studios. Technically, you're there right now, and check out the whole lineup. Also, if you saw the game mastering that was going on here and thought, boy, that's fun, how can I learn how to do that and also other things? Go to 3weeks.courses, which is an amazing website that we are very, very happy to partner with. It is a collection of curated classes that are all 3 weeks long that are meant to teach you an amazing skill, spark your creativity, or otherwise get you really engaged and active and growing during this pandemic we're all dealing with. So that's 3weeks.courses to learn about my class on GMing. Hey, there it is right there. To learn about my class on GMing, as well as many other wonderful classes. So also like us on Facebook as well. You can look us up there on Facebook and catch our previous episodes on YouTube. Maybe then you could all figure out how Archmage Akka could exist in two places at once.
Right.
And various other mysteries that we are all looking forward to sorting out in the coming weeks.
Never trusted him.
He's a book.
He's a book. He was a book.
And
now there are two of them. He went from a book to two different people, and they one or both are evil. But tune in to discover those things and more next time on Knights of Prospect. Thanks, everybody, and have a great night.
See ya.
Bye.